Okay, I'll call to order the Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Oregon City Urban Renewal Commission. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Arenello.
Here.
Commissioner McGriff.
Present.
Commissioner Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Neely.
Here.
Commissioner Marl.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
And Chair Mitchell.
Here. Thank you. Okay, do we have any public comments?
We have one on an item on the agenda.
Item on the agenda, okay. We'll hold off on that then. And we will move on to item number 3, discussion items, and the one item on our agenda is marketing request for proposals on the Stimson property. And is that Mr. Conkle or Mr. Graham, or both of you?
Good evening, Urban Renewal Commission members and ladies and gentlemen. I'm James Graham, Economic Development Manager. And today we are going to review what we call the Northeast Gateway, the Stimson property, the marketing RFP that you have there. Not intending to go through the entire RFP through a slideshow, but just to highlight some of the major points because you already have the RFP. However, we of course start with the introduction and a little bit about Oregon City. The mayor had already provided some, not information, but how do you say? Information. Information, yes, about Oregon City, and we included some of those things. But also, this is a good opportunity for you all to provide any further wordsmithing to the document as well. We also moved the solicitation overview closer to the original draft. Had it a little further back into the document. So we basically go through the process of solicitation and how developers should solicit their proposals to us. We also list the types of uses that you all had discussed in previous meetings. And so we want to make sure that we included that. We included the objectives, goals, and objectives of the Urban Renewal Commission, everything from livability all the way through to infrastructure investment. We highlighted some of the benefits of the program, of the property in this RFP, the fact that it is close to downtown, the fact that it is a very sizable property with good development potential. And then we also provided the opportunity for the respondents to provide their response electronically. When the respondents sign off and submit their proposal, they agree to a list of things that they represent. And one of those things is to make sure that they do represent the company they're representing, and to also to assure that they're providing us with accurate information based on their knowledge of what they're proposing. We provided exhibits in the document where you see a map of the area, the property itself specifically, the general region area as well, a little bit more of a topography. Also we used some, I think we used some oversight pictures. We used a, what do you call it, a mobile, a drone, thank you. I can't talk today. A drone to show the property. And that's a great site of also the Clackamas River, Lake, Cove. Yes.
One shot, that's cool.
That's a pretty nice shot.
Maybe I don't know if it can be done, but maybe you put a highlight around, on that other one, put a highlight around the property. I mean, we know where it is, but if somebody is looking at it, they may not be super aware.
Sure. Another view of the property, however, from a different type of look. We provided here again the outline of the property and the fact that it is a mixed-use downtown zoning. We also provided information on the utilities around the property. The urban renewal, it's definitely in the urban renewal district, and it's part of it also has a vertical housing tax credit. It's within that zone. And that is the proposal, the RFP, I should say. Are there any questions?
Who wants to start? Commissioner Neely?
I think you had a page here that indicated the ideal characteristics of the area that you had. I think it was textual. If you could bring it up. It was towards the beginning when it was textual, not the pictures.
Okay. You tell me when to just
Well, we might have gone by it already. Oh, important features.
before?
The one you just had, go back.
Okay. Was it that one?
Yeah,
Okay.
just looking down it. One thing that's important, I would say, is direct access to the Willamette River and the Clackamas River. I don't see it there. I might be missing
How
it, but.
does it have that?
Hmm?
How does it have that?
I think it's something that's attractive to the whole area. I mean, I
I'd
think
say it's adjacent to those, but it's not, there's no direct access to those.
Main Street extension goes
Okay,
directly in. and-
well, when you said direct access, I'm thinking that the property
No.
is on, it's
No,
adjacent to
I'm
the river.
talking about people who can have direct access from that area to the Clackamas River and to the Willamette River. And I think it's a real seller for that property.
I think you'd have to say direct access
Yeah,
by
the
vehicle
wording,
or whatever.
the wording
Yeah.
can be dealt with, but I just, as long as it's understood.
So you wanted it to mention the idea that it's adjacent or it's in close proximity to the Clackamas, to the cove, and to the river.
Clackamas River and the, Willamette River. Since there are issues with the cove, I don't know, I'll mention it this time, but yeah.
In the,
But everybody knows the Willamette River and the Clackamas River, so.
yeah, well, I was just gonna say, if you look in the about, so the second paragraph in the about, Oregon City says downtown's proximity to parks, recreational spaces offers residents ample opportunities for outdoor activities, local attractions such as the Trail Center, the beautiful Clackamas Park, scenic Clackamas Cove, blah, 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 blah. So it's not saying that the property is, but it's saying that it is in proximate to those areas.
Including the rivers.
You mentioned the Clackamas.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the rivers are essential. That's a transportation area for recreation and so forth.
Mayor McGriff, anything from you?
Nope. I read it and I guess the question would be, how comfortable do we feel with calling it the Northeast Gateway? I mean, I know there was a comment previously that we shouldn't call it the Stimson property because that's not as well known.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody else may have a better idea.
Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Silence.
Commissioner Marl, anything you want to bring up?
Yes, thank you, Chair Mitchell. I think this is well done and encompasses what we've talked about. The only thing that I would add that I personally would like to see in the uses is grocery as an option, whether that be in the primary or secondary. I think that part of town lacks that option, and that means more people getting onto either the bypass or onto our main arterials and clogging up our streets. So I would prefer, as we look to hopefully get more people down there in a larger footprint that better uses that property, that maybe we can find ways for them to be able to stay there through having something like a grocery store option.
You want it added to this list?
I mean, I would prefer that it be in the first list, but if it's in the secondary list as well, then.
Okay, so there's two, one on page 3 and one on page 4
The one on, the first list,
is the ones we want, and the second list is the ones we don't want.
No, the second list is the one that we're willing to accept, is how I
We
read
need,
it.
we need to talk about that second list.
It just says the
That'll come
commission
up
is
later.
not seeking proposals that encompass the following uses as standalone, and it gives a list.
Yes, but it says, but it may consider mixed-use development among some of these
Right.
business investment categories.
All right.
So I would like to have that option.
I agree with that, for sure. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Wilson?
No, I support the idea of including grocery store. I think that's a good idea. Other than that, no comments.
Okay. Commissioner Smith?
Sorry, the spelling of Abernathy. Very specific. It's ease.
It's like Milwaukee.
Anything else?
No.
Commissioner Renewal?
Will we be including a more clear application process, deadlines, timelines?
yes.
Okay.
It's actually,
Along with the RFP?
it's already in the document. We're looking at approximately 5 months from the
Well-
beginning, from the issuance.
I don't see it in the document, I guess.
It's on page.
The timing is in the staff report.
Oh, that's right, okay.
It's just blanks
That's
on
right,
the
yeah, it's
document.
blanks, because of course we have to have this meeting
Okay.
first.
That's where I missed it.
I think we need to talk about that timing, but we can talk about that later. Anything else, Commissioner Renewal?
No.
Okay, I've got a few things. Starting on page 1, the cover. I think it ought to say request for proposal. It doesn't say what it is.
Sorry, I didn't hear which page you were on.
Right there, the
Oh,
cover.
the very first page,
Yeah,
okay.
it should say request for proposal for Northeast Gateway. And I guess I'm trying to, and this is going to be a group decision, but are we going to call it Northeast Gateway or are we going to call it Stimson property? And I think it might be confusing to be calling it both.
No, I agree.
That's why I said, is that the name that we're
Yeah.
comfortable with?
No.
I don't know.
No.
What if we just leave it as the address, 1799 Washington Street? That's typically how memorandums of sale RFPs are published, is just the property address.
So not call it either one?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it sounds like call it the Northeast Gateway, but also include the address.
Right.
But you just, oh, I see.
Well, I guess the only challenge with that is in the document, inside the document, you have to refer to it as something, and you wouldn't want to keep calling out the address each time, I don't
We
think.
would probably put 1799 Washington Street, parentheses, property.
Mm-hmm. And then just
And then we
there
just
refer to
reference
as the property.
If we took all the naming out. Or site.
How does the group feel about that? Not giving it a name, just using the address and then calling it out as the property in the document?
I don't have any problem with Northeast
I don't-
Gateway.
I don't either.
We can get rid of the Stimson property,
Yeah.
because we referred to it in the document that it was formerly occupied by X, which is, we need to tell people that's what that was.
Yeah,
But
I
on the
agree.
front cover, I don't think it needs to be there.
You agree with
With Commissioner McGriff, yeah.
Northwest Gateway?
Yeah,
Or Northeast
yes.
Gateway.
Or we call the Northwest Gateway Project.
Northeast, yeah. Okay, so Northeast Gateway.
Project.
Throughout the document, we refer to the Urban Renewal Commission. Shouldn't that be the Urban Renewal Agency?
Could be either one.
Agency is the property owner, the
Agency owns the
agency's
property.
doing the negotiation,
Okay.
right? Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
It says agency in parentheses on the first line, but it isn't.
Yeah, but
It isn't
throughout.
consistent all the way through, so.
Yeah. Page 3. I'm not thrilled with saying ideally, this is what we want, but this is what we want.
Yeah.
So I just leave off the word ideally. On page 4, that's a list of things that we don't want to see standalone, but would consider as part of mixed use. But there's some of these on here that I don't think we intended to have on at all.
I agree.
Like redistribution center, wholesale distribution, veterinary, industrial uses.
So we took it right out of the mixed-use downtown zone. So yes, if there's things you want to nix, go ahead and nix. So we have on page 3 identifies ideal, not
Right.
ideally, what we want. But then during the discussions, it was also if someone came in with something else, right, we would consider it. So we just kind of cut and paste the mixed-use downtown permitted uses. So we could remove anything you'd like from that list.
Well, we had done that at a previous meeting. We
Yeah.
had gone through and listed the things that we didn't want on a list.
Yeah, my recollection, if I may.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was, I think there was the office commercial.
Right.
The live work / multifamily housing,
Right.
again, not as a standalone.
The nursing facility.
Are
We didn't want to
are
put it
these
in
ones
the
that we
flood
want to
zone.
leave on, or
Well, we didn't want
are
vehicle
there,
repair
which one, are there
shops.
ones on here that we did not intend to have on this
Vehicle
list?
repair shops.
Okay, so vehicle repair shop we want off.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Utilities. I don't think we-
Yeah, utilities,
Well, except that which is needed for the project.
right.
But we don't want a substation there.
To keep it simpler for me, the only 3 ones that I would support are housing, offices, and live work.
Second.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah,
The ones on the list, rather than me saying the ones that I would rather take off, the only ones that I would like to keep on are office, housing, and live work.
I can support that. Everybody okay with that?
Agreed.
What, and then where do we want grocery? Do we want grocery on the previous page on the preferred or on the Willow?
I would prefer it on the first list, and I think
Okay.
another reason why I have this thought is because given, I think many of us were following the news last year with the proposed Kroger-Albertsons merger, and had that gone through, we would have essentially had maybe 2 grocers in Oregon City. So thankfully, that's not going anywhere right now, but assuming that trends continue, it would be nice to have more options and more competition in Oregon City.
That being said, I don't think this site particularly supports a grocer. I think they have to be larger for parking.
And I'm not talking of a large-scale Fred Meyer there. I'm just talking more of a pocket type thing, which I think are pretty common in mixed-use developments now.
But what I want to avoid perhaps is convenience stores.
That's
Oh, God,
Right.
no.
Is-
Yeah.
No, we do not
Yeah.
want that.
yeah.
Okay, so are we saying something like small-scale grocery, parentheses, not convenience store? Does that get to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody all right with that? Okay.
So on page 4, we heard office, housing, multifamily, live work, and remove everything else. Is there agreement on that, or is there more discussion on that?
Anybody head nodding over that? Is there anything else on this list that anybody wants to leave on?
Would veterinary or medical dental be acceptable uses for that?
I think medical,
is a
dental,
downtown
you
business
probably
district.
argue it's an office
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
okay,
I could support childcare as well.
okay.
Yeah, I
So
don't know what
office
was meant by a
business purpose.
children's center. That
Center.
says something different to me. I don't know what a children's center is.
I thought our whole discussion was about how to make sure that this area was creating amenities to support tourism. None of those three do that. That was where we were going away from that before. So I'm kind of questioning how we've completely flipped the script again.
Well, I agree with what I agree with that, but I think that's the reason this says that we're not looking,
Okay, so it's not excluding the other things. Got it.
it could be
Okay.
included with, yeah.
So ideally,
Right.
page 3, we would get something that's a combo of like
Got it, yeah.
hotel and retail, hotel,
Okay.
restaurant,
Okay.
hotel, conference.
Yes.
Which
But
is
then it
tourism
was,
phasing.
maybe if it's hotel, multifamily, we'd be okay because multifamily, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the
Exactly.
hotel is the
Yes.
anchor.
Okay.
And I would also add
You okay
that.
with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I'm looking for destinations to travel, it's generally a benefit for me when the people there have jobs and there are less homeless people. That is a benefit for me when I choose tourist destinations.
Not that it matters if we're taking you off the other list, but I know this question, I think, came up at one point. Are bed and breakfasts even allowed anymore?
Yes, they're a
in the-
conditional use.
They are? Okay.
Yes.
Because I knew we had a bunch in Oregon City at one point, and they all went away, so I didn't know if that was because they weren't.
It
They're
was
conditional,
COVID.
they're
It had a
conditional
lot to do with
uses in
COVID.
residential,
Okay.
so if you don't see too many of them.
Well, essentially, yeah, right.
Okay, so we're okay with the list?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so on page 4, we're going to go with office, housing, multifamily, B&B, live, work, and childcare facility.
Could you flip the switch and say work, live? We went through that debate again, and, you know, what happens is that the live gets to be predominant and the work is secondary. If we
Yeah.
want people to be working there,
I don't have a problem with that. Page 10.
Hold on,
Are we,
let me just catch up a little.
okay.
Please write faster.
So you don't have a problem with live and work?
No, work, live.
Work,
We're just
live.
going to switch it.
Work, live.
Yeah.
Mike, I have a
And then
quick
everything else is going to be
Yes.
removed, so there's just going to be those 4 on page 4.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious, so so I figured out that, the picture with the parent and the child must be either at these Friends of the Oregon City bookstore. I obviously know that's downtown. What is the one with the fireplace? What is that?
River Shore Hotel.
Okay, well, I didn't recognize
I
that.
think it is. That's,
It is.
It might be, if there's somewhere
Yeah,
to
it is.
put it in, just maybe identify in a very small print what, what those are.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean, the top one is a street scene, and obviously it's downtown restaurant.
Downtown.
We don't have to name the names, but if you want to expand it, you can see that it says Nebbiolo, but yeah, I just thought some of the pictures might be a little more explanatory.
On page 10. Oh, wait till you get there.
Where
Okay,
the
so we've got
bridge is?
relevant plans and studies. Now, we did a preliminary geotech report, right? Should that not be listed here?
Yes.
And then we did another one too. Well, didn't we do
We did environmental phase 1 and a geotech. That should be.
okay, those should both be listed on here, I would think.
Yeah.
I think he's listing here, the ones in blue, those are like city-related studies, and then you could maybe do another statement that says site-specific studies, so
Yeah.
that we're not commingling. I mean, these are all things that somebody would need to look at when they were doing an investigation. Would that be correct, Lori? Somebody's investigating a piece of property, they're gonna wanna know what's in our comp plan, what's in the city documents. And then
Yeah.
we have the other documents, which are very site-specific, you know, the geotech, the this, the that, that would be under that.
I mean, typically during a due diligence period, my experience has been you provide the geos,
Right.
the environmentals.
That's been my experience as
And
well.
then, yeah, the site survey, especially with the utility encumberment, that's
Yeah.
kind of at the end
So
of the
that-
property.
that could
Okay,
be
so we'll
useful.
list both of those
Yeah,
here, okay?
site-specific studies, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, right, thank you. It's just a formatting thing, but on page 11, the heading is cut off.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Next to the last. On the
Different picture of
photos,
the bridge.
Next,
Mayor McGriff already.
The next, the second to last page. Sorry.
Sorry, what?
Trying to catch up where you're at, second to last page. 20,
No, I'm on,
oh,
yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah.
not, sorry, not second last page. Item.
What page number?
On the maps, and Mayor McGriff kind of alluded to this. I think we need an outline on some of these ones where there, or at least a portion of the property is in the picture. Outline the property and, you know, say, south end of property looking south or something to identify this, because most of
Directional.
these, none of these show the whole property. The one on page 20 shows almost the whole thing.
16 does, but it's very small.
Yeah, I just think we need some kind of identification on there to show what we're showing and what the outline of the property is. And then I'd suggest where we have these diagrams, put a link on there to the city website, because these things get awfully hard to blow up and really see what you're looking at. So I think it would be helpful for somebody to have the link right there so they can go to the city website. And if there's not anything else on the document, I got one other topic I want to bring up. Does anybody have anything else on the document?
and when you say link to city, so like for the comp plan map, like a link to the zoning page, or,
Well, a link to wherever this map came from,
okay, which, map on page 23, the comp plan map, or?
all of them.
Are all of those maps that are pasted in here publicly accessible documents?
Well, usually when you send these things electronically, you can, the individual can enlarge them on their own to be able to see it. Some of these documents are not on our, I don't think, on our website.
Right, so like the Oregon City utility map, right? So you'd go to our mapping page, and on the left, you have a drop-down. You can pick comp plan, or turn it off, or you can pick zoning, or you can pick water or sewer. So there's not one map of like existing utilities. We would send them to like the GIS page, and from there, there's all kinds of overlays and utilities
Right.
that you can click on the mapping
Most
page.
developers would know where to find that.
So you don't think it's a problem?
Some do, some don't, but they'll call. Hopefully they'll call.
Okay, well, the group
We could-
doesn't think that's a problem. It's just awfully hard to get much detail out of these maps. And if people want to go somewhere else, it might be helpful to provide some kind of information
We could provide a link to the pages that the city manager just mentioned.
to the GIS
Yeah.
mapping. Yeah.
Because every one of
Okay.
these would be, could be created from that GIS mapping page.
Okay.
I think you all suggested in several places, so just going back and looking at page 8 and 9, it's still saying the Stimson property, and maybe we're just saying the property.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to go
And
back
then
and,
on the next 9, it says in 9, it says, in summary, the Stimson property, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so we're just going to call it the property.
Right, yeah. And it does talk about, in that paragraph, furthermore, the Clackamas and Willamette River's presence creates a blah, blah, blah. So it's in there on page 9.
Yeah.
So we don't have to add it because it's already there.
And we're going to refer to it as Urban Renewal Agency and not
Right.
Commission.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else from the commissioners, why don't we do this? I'm going to call on this public comment, and then I want to talk about the timing on this thing a little bit. So Betsy Edholm, would you like to come forward? And give your name and city of residence, please.
Hi, my name is Betsy Jordan at home, and I live right here in Oregon City. I'm here in regard to the Middle Housing Ordinance and Adopted Code of April of 2025. I envision missing middle housing being represented along with some of the preferred development types for this property. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
You just might want to clarify that we don't deal with that as the Urban Renewal Agency. That's middle housing stuff.
But I think her comment is related to would we include
Middle housing in this proposal.
middle housing on this
Okay.
list?
I didn't hear that, but if you want to make that assumption, I'll agree with that.
Any
So
thoughts
on the second list does include housing, multifamily.
Which would be all of the above.
Right.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but missing middle is in residential zones, and MUD does not allow for low-density residential, right? Or
Not-
purely, I guess not.
Not single-family detached, right?
Not single
So,
family.
I think when we talk about missing middle, right, we're talking duplex, triplex, quadplex, cottage cluster housing. Those have kind of been what we've been focusing and working on when we've kind of had the discussion about, other housing types allowed in single-family residential zones, through mixed-use commercial, MUC1, mixed-use commercial 2, mixed-use downtown. Housing is a component, but it's going to be a little bit more denser than what you would see in a R10, R8, R6, R35, where, we're seeing more of kind of that lower density, what we would consider kind of that missing middle component.
Okay. Any thoughts on that?
And let me pull up MUD real quick, just to look while you guys talk.
Well, personally, as much as I think that middle housing is important, I don't see that as being the best use for this property, given its location. Yeah, okay, seem to have some agreement there. The only other thing I want to bring up, but thank you for the comment very much, and missing middle housing is on our radar. I mean, it's not something we realize the importance of it.
And the inclusion of multifamily housing is still on here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And if I just real quick, mixed-use downtown permitted uses, multifamily residential triplexes, quadplexes, 1 or 2 units in conjunction with a non-residential use, provided the residential use occupies no more than 50% of the total square footage of the development. So we don't get down into that. Here you don't really see that single-family detached like we do in our single-family zones.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The only other thing I want to bring up is the timing. 5 months to me just doesn't seem like much urgency to it. If I'm a developer and these things are, tossed over the transom every day, I'm afraid we're going to get set aside on that kind of a timeline.
Well, I understand what you're saying. The only reason why, one of the reasons that I had suggested 5 months, also to give people enough time to respond to it, because the county, with the courthouse, their time span was 2 months, and they had 1 response. So you take a risk by either too long or too short, and that's why I had mentioned 5 months. Because and this proposal actually is more than a marketing piece. It also is part of it is also a formal request for proposals. And of course, when people put together their request for proposal, they have certain expenses that they have to go through in order to prepare and get all other kinds of other types of professional advice. So it's going to be costly. It could be costly for someone to respond to this.
Commissioners, any thoughts? Commissioner Merle?
Thank you. As it relates to the courthouse, I feel that even before the, RFEI was made public and approved to go out, it seems to me that a lot of developers already knew that that was going to be coming down the pike, and still, despite that previous knowledge that it would be coming, with all the press coverage of the new courthouse soon to be opened at that time, I think my guess would be that it had more to do with the unique aspects of the property and the difficulties that the developer will have with the nature of that building. So I would agree with you. I don't know exactly what number of months I would support, but I do agree.
Commissioner McGriff?
Yes, having been on that group, I would have to say that 2 months was not nearly enough time. And the county did the best that they could. As you recall, County Chair Smith was the one that was pushing the timeline. I'd say if it had been given a little bit more time, there might have been more response. We did get a response, and that was, kind of done. So it did not, I think that was too short of a time frame.
And I don't know how these things work, frankly, but the fact is that people are going to want to explore the issue of the floodplain and so forth and what possibilities are there. And so I think a longer period of time so they can explore the issues and the possible kinds of developments that they can do under our floodplain area. And I think 5 months doesn't sound bad to me.
Any other thoughts?
I might recommend a little bit longer of a the diligence period for them of 8 months, so they can put together a probable plan. I mean, we expect them to come up with project ownership, operations of the property, project development, and management expertise. Developing a scope sometimes can take 3 months because you'll go to the project manager and you'll say, hey, I want this. They'll do an engineering aspect on it. It'll come back expensive. It'll be cost prohibitive, and then they'll have to go back and do a couple rounds of that. And that process in and of itself takes about 3 months. So I would actually give them a little bit longer. We can do maybe an initial RFI of interest. I'd like to submit a proposal, but I think.
And then give them more time.
The reporting
I like a two-step
of the
process.
final process might.
I don't want to keep delaying this thing. I would go back and write 2 different proposals.
Well, let's throw it out there at that time frame and see how we do.
Yeah, is that where we're at? Go with the suggested time frame? I'm not seeing a lot of one way or the other.
Well, I'm supportive of what she's saying.
Making it longer,
No, go with what's been proposed and see how it flies.
see what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We can always extend it, we can always, so looks like you've got, everybody's kind of struggling.
Kind of semi okay.
Semi.
All right, so Commissioner Morrow?
This is on a different topic.
Sure.
So just really quickly, I want to go back to an edit that we made on the solicitation overview on page 3. I agree with what Commissioner Mitchell said about removing the word ideally. However, I don't want it to seem, with the removal of that word, that we are only looking for uses that include all of those things, because I don't think that's going to happen either.
Well, I think then let's leave the word ideally in.
Because I don't want someone who's reading this to think, if my proposal doesn't include all of these things,
Well,
then I don't want to be seen
okay.
as less.
Or should it say, could encompass some of the following uses?
And that's where I'm having a hard time, is because I know that we want this to be centered around the hotel tourism part. And that's, I'm not trying to take away from that, but I want whoever the prospective developer reading this to know that if they want to put a hotel but feel that this is asking for them to put all of those other things as well, that it may be prohibitive for them to propose something. I just don't want that to be communicated.
Right. Thoughts?
Get out your thesaurus. Let's come up with a different word.
Well, you know what we're trying to get to.
Yes.
And then also on that same page, I believe DDA stands for Disposition and Development Agreement, not Development and Disposition Agreement.
Yeah, it is a disposition and development agreement.
Anything else?
So what is our action in the staff report?
Is it to come back to us, I presume?
Nope, I think we're trying to get it going.
I think it needs to come back to us.
Yeah,
One more time?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, so we can
That's gonna
make the edits and bring it back at our next meeting?
Yep. Is that agreeable?
Yes,
Says
Okay.
review and approve the draft marketing, provide to staff with further direction.
So we're providing further direction. And
Excuse
the
me,
further
it was-
direction is the edits that we've talked about and bring it back. Yep.
Mr. Chair, there was one item that you discussed, and I wasn't clear on, I think it was based on a use. You were just now talking about a use that wasn't included here. Grocery. Well, at groceries, we decided to put that in. But anyway, you had mentioned, you just be clear, in terms of standalone, you would not want, I mean, you would want a live-work, work-live, you would want housing, multifamily, bed and breakfast. You would want offices, and you would not want utilities.
We're going to take everything out,
Right.
but those three, childcare and grocery.
Okay.
Everything else on that list goes.
Right. Yep. Okay, anything else on this topic? Okay, communications,
That's all we had for tonight, thank you. None.
that's it?
Yep.
I'll just mention, I think our timing worked out pretty good, waiting another year on the Cove water quality, because we got a pretty spectacular algae bloom.
yes, we do.
So now we'll have last August numbers to look at, and we'll have this August numbers to look at.
Yeah,
So
it's looking-
even though it cost us a year, we may learn
Looking pretty
something
green.
from that.
Actually, it's rotting now. It's looking pretty
It's raw.
brown.
It's rotted?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks brown.
Yeah.
Chunks of brown.
But ironically, I don't think we had more than one day with 100+ weather this year.
Yeah, we had a fairly long streak that was apparently hot enough. Either that or there's less flow, less depth this year than there was last year, which we're going to see, so.
I think the humidity has something to do with that as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a lot of water in there.
Well, I know. It's like, whoa. Yeah.
Okay, anything else from any of the commissioners?
It doesn't smell good either. No.
Okay, thank you all. I think we made some progress, and the commission meeting will start at 7 o'clock. Thank you all. We're adjourned.